Joining me now in studio, Republican Congressman Mike Lawler from New York and Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz from Florida. They're both on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and they recently returned from Israel. Congressman Lawler, let me start with you. You've also met with some of the families of hostages. How much sway do you think the U.S. has in these negotiations?
Well, not only have we met with some of these families today here in Washington, but over the course of the last 50 days, we've met with dozens of families, including when Jared and I were both in Israel. I think the families have had a tremendous impact on making sure that this is a priority, both of the Israeli government and the United States government. And frankly, I think the administration has done a good job on negotiating with Qatar, with Israel, and through Qatar Hamas, to get these hostages released. Obviously, we want them all released. We passed a bipartisan resolution yesterday, unanimously calling for the release of every hostage. And so we would like to see that done quickly and efficiently here.
There's some real divisions in your party, the Democratic Party, Congressman Moskowitz, on Israel, on aid to Israel, whether there should be conditions on aid to Israel, whether there should be any aid to Israel. Right now, you disagree with those who want to put conditions on aid to Israel. What do you make of the people in, not just critics of Israel, but there are a lot of supporters of Israel, both in the Biden administration and, well, a lot of people who think Israel needs to do more to curtail the civilian casualties when they go after members of Hamas?
Well, first of all, let me say that the reason we're getting these hostages back was because of all of the pressure Israel's been having on Hamas. Hamas didn't just come to the table willingly all of a sudden. Also, the good work of the Biden administration, obviously, trying to get these hostages out, working with our foreign allies. So that's important. Look, on my party, last night we saw a big bipartisan vote on Israel's right to exist and any calls for Israel to be eliminated or anti-Zionism being anti-Semitism. So that was a big moment that the chamber could come together. But look, there's no doubt that there are differences on this aid that's coming forward. I disagree with Bernie Sanders, and I can prove that he's wrong. Why? Because when Speaker Johnson came forward with his aid package, with conditions, okay, the White House and Chuck Schumer told every Democrat in the House to vote against that. So now we can't go backwards and say, oh, well, hold on a second, now we were wrong in the beginning. No, there's going to be no conditions to the aid to Israel. And by the way, there should also be no conditions to the humanitarian aid to the civilians in Gaza. Hamas has not just taken Israeli hostages. They have taken the Palestinian people hostage by using them as human shields. They want Palestinians to die. They want those pictures of those babies so they can feed that as propaganda to the rest of the world. And so I'm happy that the hostages are getting out. I'm happy to get as many of them as they can. But at the end of the day, Israel needs the tools to continue the mission, which is to eliminate Hamas from the Gaza Strip.
Let me ask you, Congressman Lawler, CNN got an exclusive first look at former Republican Representative Liz Cheney's new book. She calls her former colleagues and party leaders, and I don't think you guys coincided, so she's not talking about you, but she calls former colleagues and party leaders enablers and collaborators with Donald Trump, who after the 2020 election were willing to violate their oath to the Constitution out of political expediency and loyalty to Donald Trump. She's concerned about what's going to happen to the party and to the country if Donald Trump gets the nomination, if he gets reelected president.
Look, I think, as I've said repeatedly in 2020, Joe Biden won. What happened on January 6th was wrong. And my party needs to focus on the future. They need to focus on the issues that matter to the American people. I won in a district, Joe Biden won by 10 points, that has 70,000 more Democrats than Republicans. That's home to Bill and Hillary Clinton and George Soros. Why? Because I talked about the issues that mattered. Affordability, public safety. We have a migrant crisis. People are tired of the petty grievances. They're tired of the inter-party squabbles. They're tired of the nonsense. They want us to focus and do our jobs that we were elected to do and deal with these issues. And I think all of us have that responsibility. The American people are going to determine who the next president is. But whoever that is, whether it's Joe Biden, whether it's Donald Trump, or someone else, they need to focus on the future, and they need to focus on the American people, and they need to cut the crap.
So speaking of domestic politics, you got one, you get one too. You've been fired up on House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer's rejection of Hunter Biden's offer to testify publicly. I want to play some Comer sound to get you to respond.
Well, he'll get a public hearing after he does the deposition. He doesn't get to set the rules. Just because he told the DOJ, the IRS, the National Archives, and every other government agency that's been investigating the Bidens for years to stand down doesn't mean he's going to tell the House Oversight Committee what to do. We have sent him a lawful subpoena.
So Comer's point is that the normal process is a behind closed doors deposition, and then maybe he gets to set the rules, then maybe a public hearing.
Yeah, so listen, Comer and I are clearly on our way to becoming fast friends on this subject. He keeps coming up with new adjectives to describe me.
What did he call you the other day, a Smurf?
He called me a Smurf, and now he's on to he called me Little Moskowitz yesterday. He had all Thanksgiving.
Was there a specific Smurf you had in mind? Because I used to watch the Smurfs when I was a kid. Was it Papa Smurf? Was it Brainy
I don't know that
Smurf?
I'm probably like Grumpy Smurf, maybe.
I don't think there was a Grumpy Smurf.
I will tell you, I was called Little Lawler when I was growing up. My brother was...
Neither of you are tall.
You know
Neither
we're
of
on
you
television,
are
right?
tall
Mike,
gentlemen.
you know we're on
Neither of you are tall gentlemen.
So
it's okay.
Here
You've achieved great things.
That's it.
We'll see. So look, let me answer that question directly. So at the end of the day, they keep bringing up, this is the regular process. Most of the subpoenas that were issued during the Trump administration, during January 6th, all that, most of them wouldn't comply. They fought it in court. They said Congress didn't have the right to do it. Right? None of them came forward and said, I would like to come and do this in a public hearing. Hunter Biden has come out and said he will come and comply immediately in a public hearing. The chairman obviously doesn't have a lot of faith in the Republicans that serve on that committee because he doesn't want to bring it to the committee. The American people deserve to hear from Hunter Biden. For a year now, the chairman has gone on Newsmax and Sean Hannity, right? He's gone to people to make them feel comfortable like a wet blanket, and he has painted this picture of Hunter Biden. Let Hunter talk. Bring him to the committee. What is the chairman afraid of? Why is he afraid of transparency? Trump has asked for cameras in the courtroom. No, they want to put Hunter in the basement so they can come out and then tell their side of the story. And that's what we've seen in these depositions. By the way, if Comer had all the evidence on Hunter Biden, James would want this in front of every TV camera possible. He would sit down with Al Jazeera if he could, if he had all the evidence. But they don't have the evidence, which is why they want to go to the
I'm going to give Congressman Lawler the final word here.
Look, we saw during the first impeachment of President Trump, Adam Schiff using the bunker in the basement to conduct a lot of depositions and then leak a lot of stuff. I have no problem with Hunter Biden testifying on camera. He should. He should testify in a public setting and answer questions. There are certainly a lot of questions that have been raised and a lot of information that has been uncovered. The American people ultimately will be the deciding voice in all of this when all is said and done. But if he has nothing to hide, as you're saying, show up and testify.
Will you vote to impeach Hunter Biden as first son?
I don't think we can do that. But look, Marjorie Taylor Greene finds every way to impeach somebody.
I was joking. You can't do that. It was a joke out there. You can't impeach a son. Anyway, thanks so much, Congressman Moskowitz, Congressman Lawler.